Hey guys, welcome back to Blind Strike. I'm John, and today I wanted to talk about your hatchling ball pythons and getting them to eat their first several meals. So you've paired up your snakes, they laid eggs, and you have some hatchlings due to hatch pretty soon here. I've done quite a bit of experimentation with what the best way to get them on food is. And what I've found is you basically pretty much need to start them on live mice. And they can be hoppers. They need to be something that moves a lot to get that feeding response like kicking in. So like, they see that rodent running around in there and it makes them want to hunt. I've tried pinky rats. I have tried smaller fuzzies that are moving a little bit, and basically almost none of the snakes would attempt to eat them. On occasion, some of them will take frozen thawed right away, but I haven't had a reliable, consistent response with that. But this new clutch that I just had laid, which were the all the blue-eyed Lucies, as you can, I don't know if you can see if it's too small. They hatched in shed, had their first shed a week ago, and this one has already had 2 meals. This one's had 2 meals, and it's on frozen thawed already. 2 meals frozen thawed, 2 meals, and let's see, 2 meals frozen thawed. This one was the only one who didn't take food the first time I offered it, but they already ate this week. 2 meals, 2 meals. 2 frozen thawed, 2 frozen thawed. So out of 11 snakes, all of them except one have taken their first 2 meals without refusing. Half of them are unfrozen thawed, and the one that didn't eat the first time has eaten. So, I think that's pretty foolproof, Here's a fat, happy little hatchling. There's the really cool one, I think, to be a Mystic Phantom Blackhead Leopard. I mean, they all are fat and happy and eating. Here's the Mystic Potion there that I have that I think's either Blackhead or Leopard as well. So, out of 11 snakes, all of them are eating at this point. They shed just over a week ago, maybe it's been 10 days since their first shed, and they have had 2 meals already. All of them except one of them, and half of them are on frozen thawed, which is fantastic, which is where I like to get them at, early on in their lives, because once you do that, they usually stay on frozen thawed. I have my Super OD pied male here from Aussie. I have the Super OD Big Puma line female here, plus the Het Ghost, plus one of the Bamboo Het Ultra Males. They're all on frozen thawed. They've been on frozen thawed since I've had them or since they hatched. The Ultra pied male that I have that I'm probably keeping at this point, frozen thawed. My Bamboo Pinstripe Ultra Male, frozen thawed. Everything that I'm keeping is on frozen thawed at this point, and they've stayed on frozen thawed, but I did start them off on live mice. Now, you're probably thinking to yourself, well, if I'm starting them off on mice, how big do they need to be? And the light is bright. The answer to that is, well, I fed them all fuzzies, or not fuzzies, hopper mice, their first meal, because I didn't have anything bigger in bulk. But the ones that took frozen thawed actually took frozen thawed large mice for their frozen thawed meals. So if I can find, here, let me get these guys out here. If you can see in here, these mice, I would say, are a couple weeks old. All these littler ones here. The bigger ones, obviously, are the breeders. Those are probably the perfect size. It's maybe a little bit bigger than a hopper. That's the perfect size to feed to your hatchling ball python. Right there. Those little guys right there. As you can see what their size is compared to my hand. Right there. Perfect size. Your snake can easily take that down. Like I said, they are eating large mice as frozen thawed. I usually do not feed baby hatchling ball pythons anything smaller than a large mouse, because unless they're severely like runts when they come out, the average size 80 gram or so hatchling ball python will be able to eat large mice pretty much right away. I just start them on smaller live mice, because you don't want them to get injured, But B, because usually it's easier to raise them to that point than to just try to kill off a bunch of large mice. But frozen thaw large mice is a completely different thing. So if you haven't had your first clutch yet, if you're having trouble getting your hatchling ball pythons to start feeding, it's probably because your prey is a little too small. It's not moving enough. They need to see that prey running around. They need to smell it. That instinct of, I need to eat, and that's my food, needs to kick in. And to do that, it needs to be a big enough mouse that it's running, it's skipping, it's jumping, it's trying to get away, it's clawing at the sides of the tub. They need to see that. And that's what kicks in that instinct to hunt. So you cannot go wrong doing that. Like I said, this first clutch, towards the middle of last year, I stopped trying to fight it. My first season, I only had 4 or 5 clutches, and I was semi-successful with trying to feed them pinky rats. You know, if you've ever seen them, they don't move a whole lot. They just kind of wiggle around. But I had more time to spend with those 4 clutches trying to get them to eat. Last year, after I had like 30, 40 babies on the ground, I couldn't sit there with every single hatchling trying to get them to eat rat pinkies. That's when I switched over to feeding them hopper mice, a little bigger than hopper mice, and it made my life a lot easier. And it makes the snakes a little healthier too, because you're not fighting food all the time, and you're not getting them in a bad habit of refusing food. So again, 11 of these hatchlings from this first clutch this season, and they're all on food after the first week, and 11 of them are on their second meal, and half of them have already taken frozen thawed. So it's basically foolproof, I think. Start them off on live mice. It doesn't take a lot of space or a lot of money to breed your own mice. So if you can get a pair of mice, do it. And then you have babies that start off strong and grow fast. So that's it for today. As you can see, this one here, which are the ones that I kind of were really into. Let me get his head out. Is looking nice after the first shed here. Looking healthy. I haven't decided how many of them I'm keeping yet. I may keep 2 of them. I think this one's a male. If there's a female, I might keep a male and a female. We'll get rid of the other one, but awesome looking snakes, and they're eating, so that's good too. So thanks guys, and we'll see you next time.